The dense jungles of South India, where shadows twist through ancient trees and the air hums with secrets, hide a story that gripped the nation for decades. It's a tale of blood, betrayal, and a manhunt that burned through billions, chasing a ghost who called himself king. His name was Veerappan, a man who rose from a dirt-poor village boy to a criminal warlord, a poacher and killer who held entire states hostage. For 36 years, he danced through the forests of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala, leaving a trail of bodies, ivory, and sandalwood riches. The Indian government threw everything at him. Over 1,500 cops, a fortune exceeding 78.4 billion rupees, and a relentless forest ranger named Pandian, whose heart was as green as the wilderness he swore to protect. This is the story of their collision, a saga of obsession and vengeance that shook India to its core, with whispers of political corruption and hidden treasures still echoing today. Let's rewind to 1979, to Gopinatham, a speck of a village nestled in Karnataka's rugged south, where mountains claw the sky and forests stretch like an endless labyrinth. Here, life was brutal. Villagers scraped by, leaning on the forest for survival, their days ruled by hunger and hardship. Among them was Veerappan, born in 1952 to a family cursed with barren land. As a kid, he herded cattle to barter for scraps, his sharp eyes scanning the horizon. By 10, under the wing of his uncle Sambagooder, a grizzled poacher with a rap sheet as long as the Kaveri River, he fired his first shot, dropping an elephant with chilling precision. That kill cracked open a Pandora's box of violence. By 13, he was a crack shot, his rifle an extension of his will, picking off prey with a sniper's calm. At 17, a petty dispute over a kill turned deadly when he slashed a villager's throat, slipping to the police's fingers like smoke. That was 1969, the year Veerappan stepped into the abyss. Across the forest, another figure was rising. Pandian, born in 1954 in Andhra Pradesh, grew up with dirt under his nails and a love for the wild in his bones. Raised by his grandmother, he roamed the fields, dreaming of a life guarding the green. By 1976, he graduated with honors from Andhra University, and 3 years later, he donned the khaki of a forest ranger in Karnataka. His mission was simple: protect the forest and their creatures, elephants, tigers, and sandalwood trees worth more than gold. But the job wasn't just about wildlife. The forests were a battlefield, crawling with poachers who saw ivory and timber as their birthright. Pandian, with his square jaw and unyielding resolve, became a thorn in their side, building irrigation canals and mobile clinics for villagers, winning hearts while hunting criminals. Veerappan's world was different. By 1970, he joined a poaching syndicate, plunging into the illegal trade of elephant tusks and sandalwood. The forest straddling Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala formed a lawless triangle, a no-man's land where state borders blurred and police jurisdiction faltered. Here, Veerappan thrived. He hunted with surgical precision, his eyes catching tracks invisible to others, his rifle felling elephants before they could trumpet. Over decades, his gang slaughtered 500 of the 2,000 elephants poached in the region, hauling ivory worth 160 million rupees to Kerala's black markets. Sandalwood, the fragrant gold of the forest, was next. 65 tons smuggled for 1.43 billion rupees. He buried most of his loot in the jungle, sharing just enough with villagers to buy their silence. They called him a hero, a Robin Hood who defied the elites. But his hands were stained red. The first blood came in 1983. A forest ranger, trying to halt Veerappan's poaching, caught a bullet in the chest. The murder sent shockwaves through Karnataka's bureaucracy. Pandian, now a seasoned ranger, took it personally. He'd seen the elephants' carcasses, their tusks hacked off, their eyes glassy in death. He built a network of informants, villagers whispering names and trails. By the mid-1980s, his efforts had jailed 120 poachers, their fear of him rippling through the underworld. But Veerappan was no ordinary prey. He knew the forest like a lover, every ravine, every stream. When Pandian's traps closed in 1986, Veerappan was cornered, cuffed, and locked in a high-security cell. The victory was short-lived. A bribed guard, a shadow in the night, and Veerappan was gone, vanishing into the jungle's embrace. The escape lit a fire in Pandian. He swore to drag Veerappan to justice, no matter the cost. But Veerappan wasn't just a poacher anymore. He was a warlord, his gang swelling to hundreds. In 1986, he butchered another ranger, Chidambaram, in Karnataka. In 1987, he kidnapped and killed a forestry official. By 1989, he gunned down 3 rangers in a single ambush, and in 1990, 4 cops felt his rifle. His audacity was staggering. He wasn't just evading the law, he was spitting in its face. He targeted rivals, too, wiping out 5 gang leaders to cement his throne as the Green Forest King. Villagers, bought with his blood money, tipped him off at every turn. And behind the scenes, a darker force shielded him. The PMK party, a political machine tied to the veneer caste. They saw Veerappan as a vote magnet, a rebel hero for the downtrodden. Politicians whispered his name in campaigns, some even calling for his amnesty, painting him as a folk legend fighting the system. Pandyan, undeterred, shifted tactics. In 1990, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu formed a special task force, with Pandyan as deputy commander. He didn't just want Veerappan's head, he wanted to dismantle his empire. Instead of brute force, he played the long game, building nurseries and jobs in Gopinatham to sway villagers from Veerappan's grip. He offered amnesty to gang members who surrendered, promising them a clean slate. It worked. The gang shrank from hundreds to 40, then a dozen. Even Veerappan's brother turned on him, lured by Pandyan's mercy. But Veerappan struck back, vicious and unyielding. He beheaded villagers suspected of snitching, hanging their heads on poles as warnings. In 1991, he blew up a police jeep, a middle finger to the state. That same year, Veerappan set a trap that would haunt India's conscience. On November 9, 1991, he sent Pandyan a message, "Meet me alone, unarmed, and I'll surrender." It was a lie, and Pandyan knew it. But the ranger, driven by a stubborn hope to save lives, went anyway. "I trust God will be with us," he texted his team. The next morning, as he crossed a stream near Gopinatham, a shot rang out. Pandyan fell, blood pooling in the dirt. Veerappan emerged, machete in hand, and took his head as a trophy. The ranger, only 37, left behind a legacy of courage. India mourned, erecting a monument in Gopinatham and naming November 10th a day to honor fallen rangers. But the wound festered. Veerappan was still out there. The 1990s saw Veerappan's reign grow darker. In 1993, enraged by police pressure, he rigged 50 kilograms of explosives to a bus carrying rangers, cops, and civilians. The blast killed 22, the deadliest attack in Karnataka's 20th century. The nation reeled, and the government upped the bounty to 150 million rupees, nearly 40 billion VND. Border forces joined the hunt, but Veerappan was a phantom, slipping through every net. His kidnappings grew bolder. In 1994, he snatched actor Rajkumar's wife and others, demanding amnesty. When talks collapsed, he killed 20 cops in 1996. In 1997, he took wildlife photographers and rangers hostage, demanding a 2-year sentence. Again, no deal. His cruelty knew no bounds. In 1993, he killed his newborn daughter for not being a son, and later executed a disloyal lieutenant. Then came 2000, the year Veerappan shocked the world. He kidnapped Rajkumar, a cinematic god whose films were remade 63 times across 9 languages. India erupted. Fans rioted, shops shuttered, and some took their lives in despair. The government, desperate, sent a journalist to negotiate. Veerappan demanded political concessions, water rights, prisoner releases, but it was a ruse. He wanted cash. After 108 days, Rajkumar was freed for a rumored 200 million rupees. The deal exposed Veerappan's duality. A soft-spoken man with a wispy mustache, mistaken for meek, yet a predator who could mimic animal calls and sense intruders by the flight of birds. He bragged of 120 murders, bribing rangers and dreaming of a biopic. "I'm no worse than the officials who hunt for sport," he told reporters, his defiance chilling. By 2002, Veerappan's luck was thinning. He kidnapped Nagappa, a former minister, demanding another ransom. The police, fed up, launched a risky rescue. It failed. Nagapa's body was found, riddled with bullets, possibly police rounds, sparking whispers of a botched operation. The scandal lit a fire under the government. Public faith was crumbling, and Veerappan's political allies were losing sway. The PMK's support, once a shield, was fading as voters turned against their hero. In 2004, the states united for Operation Cocoon, a final, desperate gambit. On October 18th, 2004, darkness cloaked the forest. Veerappan, now 52 and plagued by failing eyesight, needed a doctor. A police mole, posing as a driver, offered to take him to a hospital. 3 loyal henchmen climbed into the ambulance with him. As the vehicle rolled deeper into the jungle, Veerappan's instincts failed him. The driver leapt out, and shadows swarmed. Cops, armed and ready. "Surrender!" they shouted 3 times. Veerappan answered with a gunshot. The night exploded. Bullets tore through the ambulance, and when the smoke cleared, Veerappan and his men lay dead. The Green Forest King was no more. The aftermath was a storm of relief and controversy. The manhunt had cost 78.4 billion rupees, drained 2 states, and left 184 dead, 97 of them rangers and cops. The forest bore scars. 2,000 elephants gone, 500 by Veerappan's hand, and sandalwood groves gutted. His wife, Mathil, and 25 relatives faced trial for aiding him but walked free, evidence too thin. Others got a year in jail and a 150 rupee fine. Pocket change for blood money. At Veerappan's funeral, thousands mourned, calling him a martyr betrayed by the state. Some claimed he was shot in cold blood, silenced to protect politicians whose secrets he held. In Gopinatham, though, villagers lit firecrackers, free from his terror. For 20 years, they'd lived caged, unable to farm or roam without fear. Now, the cage was broken. Yet, Veerappan's shadow lingers. In 2013, a youth festival hailed him as an icon, outraging victims' families and sparking condemnation from Tamil Nadu's chief minister. Films and books immortalize him. Some paint him as a rebel, others a monster. Treasure hunters still scour the forests, chasing rumors of his buried millions. None have found it, but the hunt goes on, fueled by whispers of gold and greed. Pandyan's father, hearing of Veerappan's death, wept, not for the killer, but for the son he lost to a war that consumed them both. Veerappan's story isn't just a crime saga. It's a mirror to India's soul, exposing the rot of corruption, the pull of caste politics, and the blurred line between villain and hero. Was he a product of a broken system, or a demon who thrived in it? The forests, silent now, hold no answers. But somewhere in the tangle of roots and shadows is legend, and perhaps his treasure waits a riddle unsolved.